We have another great episode from the Real Housewives of Potomac. And honestly, guys, I don't know all this talk about, Potomac being boring and not delivering. I feel like these women, they do show a lot of their lives. Well, some more than the others, but I think it's been a fantastic season. They each have something going on, and the new faces have been so fresh and a great addition to the group. So, this episode, Old Rumors Die Hard. All right, guys, if you're new to this channel, I cover all things Real Housewives, Bravo, and some good pop culture tea. If you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? And if you already have, turn on the notifications. With that said, let's get into it. All right, guys, what an episode. So we see Gizelle, Kay, and Wendy. Wendy had her whole flat tire situation. It was funny. Oh Lord, what a day. The whole thing was funny. But anyways, the ladies talk about Kay and her relationship with Greg. Is it Greg with a G or Craig with a C? I don't know. I feel like I should pay attention to the captions a little bit more. But anyways, Kay and Craig, are supposed to get married. She has been extensively talking about the timestamps, the dates, the whatever their future plans are. And I get it. You are on a reality show, so you got to be giving. And I'm so glad that they are showing her beautiful um spa, and she showed like some new gadgets to Giselle. So I'm glad. I want to see more of her spa and her businesses. I'm tired of seeing Greg's business. Like, this is not the Greg show. Greg is not the full-time housewife. Kierna is. So we see her beautiful spa. She's talking about her and Greg, and Giselle's asking her like, "Oh, when you guys get married, like, are you going to change your last name?" And Karen is like, "No, my last name's gonna stay like on the walls of her spa." And she wants to hyphenate the name. So it'll be like Stewart hyphenate whatever his last name is. But Greg is very like old school, I guess, and he wants her to change her last name. Look, guys, I feel like the changing of the last name might be more of a Western thing, because I know in a lot of cultures, like, that's not even a conversation. You keep the name you came in with. I mean, socially, sure, like, socially, I'm Mrs. Turner, but like, I don't change my last name. But anyways, oh, the reason why I brought up it's a reality show and she's giving, I feel like some things Kierna should kind of keep to herself, because we have about a month to go from February what was it, like February 23rd, 2025. Apparently that's going to be the 3 years of her and Greg. Greg, is there a ring coming? Is she engaged already? I don't know. I mean, they have a house together. That's great. Very non-traditional way of moving forward. Usually, a lot of couples, they take more of a linear approach. Um, but they're deciding not just to live together, but they bought a place together, which, yes, that is a huge commitment. But he didn't give you the ring, girl. Where is the ring? But anyways, they move on. Wendy comes in. They have a cute little platter. They get right into it, and Karen's basically like, I'm worried for sorry, not Karen. Giselle's basically like, I'm worried for Karen. Like, she looks so thin. And Karen is like, oh, I think it's like Ozempic. And the ladies, I think they do seem genuinely worried, especially Giselle. Yes, Karen and Giselle for, 9 years now, they were like frenemies on the show, but I do think there is a deeper love and a connection between these women. It's not just, oh, I work with her, we're casted on the same show. I do think there is a level of love and care for each other. Now, of course, this conversation sets the stage for what we're going to see later on when the ladies attend Ashley's drag brunch. Guys, someone give Ray a champagne flute, because Ray has delivered more in this 5-minute scene than some of the other ladies have. Sometimes you got to send your husband in and get the info, okay? You ever send your husband out there or he comes back home and he's like, "Oh, I have to tell you something." And then you ask him and then he just gives you like the headline and then he doesn't give you like the juice and you're just like, "Why the F did I send you out there for? Come back and bring me some tea." But anyways, Ray, he's a real one because he got the tea from Gordan. All right, so these two old gentlemen, I think they're both in their 70s actually. Ray actually might be in his 80s. Anyways, so they meet at this place. They're having lunch. They're on a diet, but then they break it. They're like, "Well, the food here is so good. Let's just, go all in with their cornbread, their what was it? Rice pudding. Oh my God. I have never in my life went outside and asked for rice pudding. Rice pudding has always been something that my mom made and I like ate it at home. Never in my life did I go out there into the world and say, "Yes, I would like some rice pudding." These two are old, but like whatever, it's still cute. Anyways, a lot happens in this scene. So, they have some pleasantries and then Ray, gets into it, asks about the situation with Gordan and Mia, how things are going. Ray is like, yeah, so the month of June, Mia was without her kids for 25 days. What? What? Guys, these kids aren't like teenagers and like they're away for practice, for games, they're busy with their schoolwork, self-sufficient, older. These kids are, I think, like what, 6, 7, 8? Like they're small children. They're not like old. Um, The whole thing was shocking. I'm like watching it on a Sunday night and I was like, 25 days? That's like an entire month. So, a bit of a shock factor there. But with Mia at this point, is anything shocking? I don't really know. Um, and Gordan was like, "Yeah, I wasn't comfortable with who the kids were left with, and that's why I ended up taking them and driving them out to somewhere where they're in safe hands. Because when the ladies were in Panama, Mia had this whole freak out where she didn't know where her kids were. Look, this is the one time I will throw her a bone and be in her corner. Her hyperventilating and freaking out, that could have been her true experience and her truth. She probably didn't know where her kids were, and then she's like, "Oh my God, Gordan's having an episode. Where did he take my kids?" But we see Gordan is the one with his head on his shoulders, and yes, he is dealing with is it bipolarism? I don't know what the correct term is, but he's taking his bipolar medicines and he says to Ray, that can only take you so far. There's still a lot of work to be done. But he is just telling Ray in a very calm manner what the events were. What else? Gordan drops the bomb. He did a paternity test. And the reason he did the paternity test, which confirmed that their son, Jeremiah, I believe is his name, is Gordan's son. I cannot believe we are having a Maury moment on one of these housewife shows. I mean, Mia has really declassed this show, this franchise. And I don't know if the fans can take it anymore. Like, she has a lot of story. It's not the right packaging for Housewives. But anyways, it was interesting to hear Gordan say that he had a shred of doubt. And the reason he had a shred of doubt is because when Andy at the last season's reunion asked Mia about who the father is of this child. Guys, the whole thing feels so gross. Even me talking about it, I feel a little gross talking about it, but this is what's happening on the show. So Andy asked Mia, "So, like, who's the father of the child? Like, tell us, like, what's going on here?" Mia asks, or I think Andy said, "Is there a possibility?" And then Mia's like, "There's a possibility." And then in some other scenes, she's like, "Yeah, that's always a possibility." What do you mean there's always a possibility? But I guess she was stepping out of her marriage and, having affairs and dipping it over here, doing it over there. Mia be lying, Mia be up to things. I don't know what else to say. And because of this shred of doubt, Gordan was like, "Hold on, let me let me do something about it. Is this my kid? Is this not my kid? I know this is my kid, but like, let me make sure. So he does the PAT test, the paternity test. Great, amazing. Jeremiah is his kid. You are the father. So that's great. Now, they, go into talking about green eyes. They talk about Karen. I thought it was so funny when Ray is like, "Oh yeah, when our daughter Raven was born, there was talk about Karen was like, oh, there's some like blue eyes in the family," and then Ray's looking at her like, "What are you talking about?" So I feel like this like blue eye thing might be like Karen's type. It's like a running joke. So I don't know. This was such a pivotal scene, and I really enjoyed these two men coming together, just sitting down, having a chat, and just straight facts, no lying, no garnish, just, this is what it is. Now, before I move on from this scene, Gordan sounded great. He sounded amazing. He addressed his, bipolar behavior. He's taking medicine for it. Now, I will say him going on TMZ, like in real life, like not on the show, that was not a cute moment. So in times like that, it's like, oh my God, what's going on in the Mia Gordan household? And then he also addressed to Ray about the divorce, and there's no divorce. It's like on pause or whatever. Like, if we can make it out, make up, like, why bother going through with the divorce? Anyways, Gordan just seemed very much in his right mind, and what we all thought is what it is. Mia be lying. All right, ladies, if you are going to be uncoupling, consciously uncoupling with your husband, in the words of Gwyneth Paltrow, conscious uncoupling, this is the type of lawyer you need in your corner, because this lawyer was shocked, but she was like, no, 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 honey, let me give you the facts of what other women deal with and why, you know, I'm here being a lawyer and wearing a bunch of Hermes bracelets, and I can't tell if she has a couple of Van Cleefs on as well. But this lawyer is doing very well. So, anyways, we see a moment with Stacy and her lawyer, and they're just talking about like alimony, child support. What are the important things you want to get out of this divorce? All the basics, all the common stuff. Now, this was shocking. Well, this wasn't the shocking part. So she'll get alimony, great. Her husband makes a ton more than her. So with her getting alimony, she will continue to keep some emblance or resemblance. Anyways, some level of that lifestyle. So great. Alimony, check, covered. However, when it got to the talk about child support, Stacy is like, well, I have no reason to, basically put child support in writing. I know he will always cover everything and beyond for Arabella. Now, that's great. He covers everything for their daughter that they share, and they only have one daughter together, and Stacy only has one child. Um, that's great. But this lawyer is like, okay, I mean, the alimony part is great, but do not waive your child support. Things look a certain way now, and yes, he is providing exceptionally well. That's amazing. But what's to say in the future down the road when he has a new partner, he will be this giving to your child when it comes to the finances, taking care of her. And Stacy asked the lady, okay, so, how often do you see women, waive child support and then they come back to you? And then ladies, this lawyer is basically like all the time. It happens all the time. And this is why you need to get it in writing in a binding contract that, basically says alimony and child support. So I loved this lawyer. She was so calm. I loved her energy. She explained everything really well. What else happened here? I feel like with Stacy, her intentions are good, how she wants to deal with her husband, and this is a very emotional departure for her, leaving her husband or them both separating and divorcing. They were together for like 16 years, and I'm so glad we are witnessing her go through this. let me back that up. I'm not glad that she's obviously getting a divorce. I'm saying I'm so glad we are witnessing her journey because I feel like a lot of times on reality TV, women divorcing, it's like, he cheated on me, he did that, I saw him with so and so. This is not that. This seems like a very mature divorce, and I'm enjoying her journey, seeing her go through all of it, and it's just a different journey that than what we're used to. Now, before we get off this topic, it was interesting that Stacy was like how she is going to have Arabella, their one child, throughout the entire school year, and he will take their kid for summer. Ooh, this gives me fun parent and disciplined parent where, Stacy's gonna deal with their daughter for the entire school year. I'm sure she's still gonna see her dad. It's just Stacy's gonna have their daughter full time for the school year, and then he's gonna take her for summer, and I don't know, they'll be off to Europe or whatever. And that to me was like, okay, well, so he is expected to take care of all her childcare needs and more throughout the school year. And then I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, if you waive child support, him at any time could be like, I don't feel like, giving you money for private school or whatever type of school she's in. You deal with it. So this lawyer, she's a good one. Guys, as if this man, TJ, could not look any worse and dig a bigger hole. It just gets worse. So Stacy shares with TJ how, in terms of recent events in her um, separation with her husband in the next few days, not few weeks, not few months, but in the next few days, will be moving out of their marital home, of her home, basically. And she'll be living there with her child. This man had the audacity to say the things that he said. He's like, can I come to your house? Oh my God, you never self-invite yourself anywhere. That is rule of thumb. It doesn't matter if it's a party, if it's a get together, if it's a gala, if it's your boo thing is divorcing her man and so the house is free, so you want to go in. No, 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 no. Do not ever self-invite yourself anywhere. Oh, I just cringed when he said that. Anyways, let's move on. And Stacy's like, well, what do you need from me to make you feel good about us? Oh my goodness. This man is like, I want you to tell your husband that we're dating. What else did he say? He was like, I basically want you to tell the world that we're dating because I feel like I'm hidden. I'm thinking, well, how are you hidden? You're literally in a public place, you're out and about. You've met all her friends on the show, and I'm going to assume he's met some of her real life friends. They have been together for a year. Yes, he lives in LA and then he visits her as well. The whole thing was very odd to me, but you guys remember he is an actor, darling. Actor's gonna act, and this is what we're getting. Yes, it was a beautiful scene. They called each other best friend, and TJ realized, okay, I just need to be a little bit more patient with Stacy. I need to move at her pace, at her comfort level, which, okay, cool, whatever. I just got the ick. Like, why are you self-inviting yourself? Why are you trying to move this lady forward? She's going through a lot, and now you are adding to her plate. Now, in the end, they cried, they hugged it out, they called each other best friend, they had a weird kiss. I don't understand this relationship because they act like they're best friends, like, "Oh, this is just my, male platonic friend," very like Christian boyfriend, girlfriend. But then he's like, "Well, I want you to introduce me to your husband. I want you to tell the world we're dating." So what is it? Is this Stacy's rented boyfriend? She took a page out of Giselle's book, or, they really are together, but all couples are different. We watch and we don't judge, but here we do judge. The whole thing is very absurd. You guys let me know your thoughts on these two. All right, guys, let's get into the meat and potatoes, what the scenes earlier in the episode were setting the stage for. So the ladies all attend Ashley's drag brunch. Guys, side note, I don't understand the way Ashley moves. And yes, I would say Ashley and I are very different people. Her life is very non-traditional, the things she does. But there's some things where I'm like, this isn't non-traditional. This is just shameless. In 2025, let's bring back shame. Just people have a little bit of shame. Just let's bring back a little bit of shame. Ashley had her entire family there, including her mother. Her mother was there. Whatever, couldn't be me, couldn't be you probably, but Ashley is gonna Ashley, so whatever. All right, drag brunch. We got Gizelle questioning Karen, and this was, of course, discussed with Kay and Wendy earlier on. Karen looking very thin. She's lost a lot of weight. Karen's response is, well, I'm pre-diabetic and I'm on semaglutide or whatever she said she was on. And then Kay and Gizelle, they're like, so that's Ozempic, or that's like a form of Ozempic. Also, guys, I have a video on my channel that I posted maybe a couple months ago, the Real Housewives of Ozempic. I'll try to link it below in the description, and you guys can go check it out. But basically, Karen can never just answer the question. She'll try to like loop you around. So the girls are like, okay, so you're on like Ozempic, and Karen's like, well, yeah, I'm like pre-diabetic. I'm thinking, well, given my ethnicity, my background, my people were prone to diabetes, but granted, I'm not old as Karen. I'm like at least half her age or younger. Um, and I'm thinking, like, well, should I start taking Ozempic? I could be pre-diabetic just because of my ethnicity. I'm predisposed to it. The whole thing made no sense. Karen girl, come on, just say you want to look skinty, honey. Like, just say that you want to look skinty, and we can like move on from there. All right, guys, brace yourself because Karen comes in with the tea, what Ray told Karen right as she was getting ready for this event. Um, Karen was like, oh, Ray and Gordan, they had lunch together, and this is what Gordan had shared with Ray. She drops the bomb. So apparently, Gordan took the paternity test. It is confirmed. You are the father, Gordan. The child is Gordan's. What else? Mia knows the kid is Gordan's, but she has not mentioned it to anyone that the kid is Gordan's, and this has been such a overwhelming topic amongst the group. And there's apparently no divorce in place at this very moment. And Gizelle is very shocked. She's been lying this whole time, Karen. Gizelle is just bursting out like, what the heck? Look, here's the thing, guys. I saw some commentary online like, why is Gizelle shocked? I don't think she's shocked that Mia is lying. I think in this scene, Gizelle is just shocked at the level of lies, okay? This isn't like petty lying, like, oh, I bought the car, but really you find out they didn't buy the car, it's like on lease or something. Like, it's not something dumb and frivolous like that. We are literally talking about children. We're talking about paternity tests. We're talking about where the children were for about a whole month. Like, there's so much going on here. It's the level of lying with Mia where you're just like, what is true? What is not true? It's just too much. So, Giselle, Karen, they head back to the group. They're all still sitting at the table. And they're like, hey, Mia, so Gordan said there's no divorce happening right now. And Gordan is the father. And Mia is just like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, who said that? And I'm just thinking, oh my God, you're really gonna pretend like you don't know what's going on, as if all this is like news to you. And the women are just like, what the F is going on? And then I think it was Wendy or one of the girls, they're like, let's take it outside. Because at this point, they're inside like a bar, restaurant, and these women, they can get quite wild. And so I think it was Wendy that said, let's take it outside. That was a good call. So they go outside, and what does Mia try to do? Instead of answering any questions or trying to appease the women in any way, she is like full on deflection mode. She is like, Karen, let's talk about your DUIs, your drunk driving, blue eyes. And the ladies are just like, we don't care. Even Giselle's like, blue eyes, DUI. Okay, yeah, she has her trial coming up. We know about that. And the streets have been talking forever when it comes to Karen and her blue eyes. Like, we don't care. Now, you answered the questions about your kids and Gordan and Ink and all of this. Honestly, guys, I think Mia just really likes the attention of having a husband and a boyfriend in like this, like, circus freak show. I don't even know what to call it. It's very absurd. The whole thing is very strange. Her deflecting, that was not cute. Now, before we end this recap, I want to discuss a very important scene. It happened really quickly. So, as Mia, Karen, some of the other girls were going back and forth, they were just like in awe of the level of lies Mia be doing, Mia be lying. Her pet, Jacqueline, was about to step in. I'm gonna make this picture a little larger. You guys can see Wendy very calmly holding Jacqueline's hand, as Mia and Karen were going back and forth. And what happened after? Jacqueline, Mia's pet, could not hold herself back. And so when they were outing the discussion about the paternity test, how Mia knows. Mia's known for like a bunch of weeks now, but she hasn't shared it with the group. Jacqueline then comes out and she's like, "Oh, I only found out like 2 days ago." Like she could not hold herself back. And then Mia's like, "Well, it was only an at-home test." Okay, well then go to the doctor and take a real test. So what, does Mia still think that this child could possibly be Inks? Like this thing is so absurd. Like, does she lie to herself so much where she's like, oh yeah, this could be Inks? Also, it's like, as a mom, like let's be real here. Like in our inside voice, our inside thoughts, all these years, she thought there's a possibility Jeremiah could be Inks. Let's say she really believes that. And in all these years, she never took him to do a test and get tested to see, who the father is. The whole thing is so absurd. I'm sure the next episode we will see Ashley's drag performance, which I'm probably going to skip through that. Raggedy Ashley and her newfound glory in being a drag king. These ladies, they're outside the restaurant bar duking it out. Mia, what's true, what's not in this case. They don't believe a word she has to say. Reunion is going to be interesting. I already saw, Gizelle, Wendy, even Ashley, a lot of the girls saying, yeah, Mia has a lot to answer for because none of it makes any sense. Guys, I will keep the recaps going. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't subscribed yet, definitely do so, and I will catch you all later.